mean, like, the farther you keep digging, the more you'll find that there's tons of Sonic pornography out there.
Well, that's... Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, that maybe I'm not the biggest Sonic fan.
Yeah, no, it's okay. You don't have to dig through that. I just want to see what people like.
Because some people like really, really, really like Sonic, like a little bit more than I can ever admit to. So, yeah.
Would you call? I mean, this isn't meant to be derogatory, but would you call these people furries? That's not meant to be derogatory.
Anyway,
no comment, huh?
I have no comment on that. Anyway,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sonic Historian Podcast, the show where we discuss Sonic the Hedgehog and try to decide if Sonic was ever good. My name is Radrey, and I am joined today by Marc Cavazos, my co-host for this podcast, game journalist, or former game journalist. What title do you prefer to go by these days?
you can just call me Mark. I don't know.
All right, Mark. Mark, the Sonic fan. Can I say fan?
Sure. Yeah. Probably not as big as a fan as some people out there. There are some very, very serious fans out there. I would say that I'm a big fan, a big hardcore gamer from the late '80s or mid to mid '90s, and still keeping on track. And yes, my favorite system probably is the Sega Saturn, next to the Neo Geo.
Really? Your favorite system is the Sega Saturn? That's the only... Well, I didn't have a Dreamcast and I didn't have a Saturn, but I did have a Genesis, and that was it. Or Mega Drive for our European listeners out there, and I guess Japanese listeners too. But I think everybody knows it's called Genesis, right? At this point?
Well, we live in Japan, so I've had a stronger association with the term Mega Drive now, but
right.
Yeah.
I wonder why they changed the name. Do you know why they changed the name to Genesis?
Yeah. Yeah, we should get Mr. Kalinsky on here at some point and ask him that.
Is he still alive? Is he around? It's like I don't know. There's like some of these people, like I don't even know if they're like alive or dead or what.
Yeah. He was on the Netflix series just recently. Was it the Game Over? Like the video game documentary series.
Oh, Game Over.
They were doing. I think it's called Game Over, but that's a. Or unless I'm totally wrong, but yeah. But I think there actually. I think there actually is a video game drama called Game Over that's on Netflix, but actually that is not what I'm talking about. There is a documentary series about video games. Here it is. It's called High Score. And yes, Mr. Kalinsky was on the documentary talking about how he was able to promote Sonic far enough to defeat Mario the Christmas that the Super Nintendo was released.
Right. You're familiar with Madeline Schroeder, right?
I know Madeline Schroeder, yes.
Okay. You mean you know her personally, or you just know the name? I know Madeline Schroeder.
I can't say I've met her personally. No,
okay.
No, but yeah.
Well, supposedly, I mean, I've watched documentaries with her before, and she said that she wore the Sonic costume. So there's probably a chance I met her when she was in the Sonic costume when I was younger.
I mean, maybe at the shopping malls or some of the events. Yeah.
Yeah, probably, right? You're playing one of the games there, because that was the way we played video games back then. It's the only way we could discover them. Nowadays, it's just like you find some random download on the internet.
Well, I mean, they're about like analog media and the way that they were able to display. The only way they were able to really display games back in the day was very magical to a kid. I mean, walking into Babbage's, which later became Electronics Boutique, and seeing like the very like late Nintendo games on display that you could just walk up and play, and also seeing like video footage, and then going to the supermarket with my mother and immediately going to the magazine stand and flipping through an issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly or Game Fan, and just seeing the screenshots, very enticing, I gotta say.
So, to give our audience a little bit more familiarity with Marc, Marc has been on my other podcast, Why Come Japan, where we talk about how he beat Japan's 99% conviction rate. It's quite the story, and I recommend that you give it a listen. Marc I've known him here in Japan for a little over 10 years, and I've always known you as one of the bigger Sonic fans, or people who I knew who was really interested in Sonic a lot more than probably I knew of the Blue Hedgehog. Because my kind of personal history with Sonic in general was I played the first 2 games. Like Sonic 2 is the first video game I ever owned, and I got into Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and then I stopped. I played Spinball, but I never played Adventure because I think that's when I got more into PlayStation games, and the Dreamcast wasn't particularly attractive to me at the time because they didn't have many games. They had Sonic and maybe Shenmue, and that was it. I mean, are there any other Dreamcast games that you'd say you have to play that? Or was it Power Stone? Was that one of them? I can't remember any others.
Power Stone was pretty fun. Yeah, I have good memories in the arcade.
Was that it? Is there any other Dreamcast games worth playing besides that? Maybe Shenmue?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of great games.
Okay, but maybe I'm just missing the tentpole ones, I guess. It's as I looked through, because I downloaded an emulator to play Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 for the first time, and I'm looking through all these lists, and I'm like, I don't want to play any of these.
Wait, what's wrong with you? What? Oh, there's a lot of great stuff out there. There's Crazy Taxi. All
right, Crazy Taxi. All right, sure. Yeah, I played the shit out of that game, another system, I think.
Jet Set Radio is fantastic.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Jet Set Radio. I have one person in my Discord keeps telling me to play that game. That's true. All right, I stand corrected.
Of course, there's House of the Dead. There's
House of the Dead. Did that port really well to Dreamcast?
Well, I'll put it this way. I think that the Typing of the Dead game, which is also on Dreamcast, is fantastic. That's a great
The Dreamcast
great idea.
actually come with a keyboard?
There was a Dreamcast keyboard, yes.
Huh. Could you connect to the internet too?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because I knew Sega was pretty progressive with all of it. I mean, they've always been kind of progressive. That's probably why they don't make consoles anymore.
Well, they were always the ones that took the first leap. And other games I can think of course, I like Space Channel 5.
Oh, that's right. That one came out for that one.
I like Choose Your Rocket, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Cannon Spike is pretty good. That's a Capcom game.
Okay. Well, then I stand corrected. I got way more into PlayStation at this time. And just to explain briefly my history here, pretty much I didn't really get back into Sonic until really Mania came out, because everyone was raving about how great Mania was. And, nobody had there was hardly anybody who had negative things to say about Mania. And so I thought, well, I have to play it. And so I played it, and yeah, it's literally a love letter to people who played Sonic games, the old 2D style ones. Because, I mean, it's really, it hits all the marks of everything you'd like of an old Sonic game. So, and that's part of what really kind of brought me back into it. I guess there's also that and the movie that came out. And, I just figured there's been all these long couple of years where I've been away and I haven't really paid attention to any of this. Because, I think what it was is when I first got into Sonic, I think I stepped away from it at an older age because I thought, well, no, I'm growing out of this, this is like Anpanman shit, You know what I mean? Here in Japan, people who they don't watch Anpanman anymore because it's for a younger audience. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've even talked to some little kids, that have been embarrassed if you ask them at Anpanman, or if they, because even maybe first, second grade students, they will say, oh, Anpanman is for babies, or it's for, I'm like, yeah, but you're 6, 7 years old, dude. But they're like, no, it's for little kids.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, because I kind of stepped away from it, kind of having that impression I'm not watching Sesame Street anymore. But the more I started digging and getting into, older Sonic games, I realized there's quite a community of people out there. There's more than just it's not like it's a small sleeper hit.
Well, I was having this discussion with somebody the other day, but I realized that Yuji Naka is very protective, or was very protective of his baby back in the day. Even when he was working at Sega of America, he was quite disgusted with the way that the way the Sega of America was treating Sonic by turning him into essentially an American franchise with Saddam, the two cartoons in the comic book series, and even in trying to apply that story to the games. But I mean, it did its job in creating a lore, or a kind of a world building thing for children to really get more involved in the story. Whereas I feel that the early games by Yuji Naka were pretty bare bones, including no dialogue or anything written down. But I find it a little bit sad that Saddam comic book world that had such a strong backing from many fans was not integrated.
Comics, you mean?
Yeah. It was not integrated into his return in Sonic Adventure, and or any of the mainstream games up till now. Because if he had done that, I feel that it would have been a more intricate world. It would have been a more interesting thing that would have, I think, got the attention of more people, especially people that grew up with those stories. But I think that
I think I've heard the argument though that I think one of the reasons why a lot of people don't like the Archie comics, particularly like with the Princess Sally character, is it kind of takes away from Sonic. It makes the story kind of more about her than it is about Sonic. He just becomes like the Han Solo of the series.
Sure. I mean, I'm not stating my opinions of the comic and Saddam at the moment.
Okay.
But I'll just say, actually, to be honest with you, I am a little bit more of a conservative thinker, and I might actually agree with Yuji Naka in Sonic remaining a quote-unquote Japanese series. But I also am acknowledging that it is sad that we have seen the American side of the franchise kind of our story dilute.
You think it's been diluted?
I think it's gone now, yeah.
Why do you think it's gone? You think because it's primarily a Sega-only product? Or do you think it's based upon the comic book writer Ken Penders? What is your thinking?
Oh no! I mean, all of this actually. All of that. Yes, there's one disaster after the other.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Go on.
I mean, we do have the new range of comics at the moment.
Oh, IDW.
IDW, yes.
Do you read those?
I have not.
You haven't read them?
I have not read them.
Out. I mean, they're not great. There are some problems I have, a lot of problems with it, but I'm not sure if it's because Ian Flynn's hands are tied, the guy who writes it, or if it's just like his vision. Because I feel like it's very well drawn, but a lot of the storyline
it looks good.
No, it's great. It's beautifully drawn. Beautifully. But it's just sort of like there's certain parts of it that just don't make any sense. Like Amy's character, she's like a leader. We have to fight for the resistance or something against Eggman. And when you watch this and you listen or you look at this and you're like, wait a minute, this is Sally's character. Like, I thought Amy's character was, she's infatuated with Sonic, right? But little stuff like that. And there's other things where, like, there's characters like Cream, where she has a very antagonistic relationship with Sonic. It's a little odd. But this isn't the IDW. What I really want to ask you, Mark, is you said that you're more of a purist in terms of, like, liking Sonic's character based upon Yuji Naka and Naoto Oshima's, vision.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate a little on that? Like, what would you say their vision is, quote unquote?
Wow. We'd have that. We should get them on this podcast. But
well, that's like a long stretch. I don't think Yuji Naka really wants to speak English, so.
Right.
From what I read, I was doing some digging, for this interview we were going to do with Craig Stitt. He was saying that he was not very easy to work with some of these interviews I was looking in from him.
No. To make a few examples, just to quote Craig, hopefully he doesn't get mad at me, but he had told me that he actually, because Craig did some of the work on the level designs in Sonic 2.
Right.
I mean, more on that when we actually do interview him, but he was set to work on Sonic 3 as a level designer as well.
Right.
But later, Yuji Naka had requested a Japanese staff only, and also they had their own private office that only they could enter.
Right.
So,
I was watching some interview with him on YouTube where he was saying that same thing, and he was saying something like Yuji Naka was a little he constantly gives people ultimatums sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what happens. I guess we could ask Craig when we have him on the show, and we could figure out what exactly happened, or maybe get.
His entire success story was based off an ultimatum of leaving Sega Japan, and then Sega of America throwing money bags at him.
Right.
So, and then whenever he threatened to have his way, he would, whenever he wanted to have his way, he would make the same threat again.
Right.
So,
right.
But anyway, about my purist viewpoint. That may have changed a bit now, because now that I'm looking back, I mean, like I just said a minute ago, I do have mixed feelings where I do feel that it's sad that the 1990s Sonic lore from America that we grew up on was never really integrated into the games, and has essentially not been represented by any game outside of maybe a cameo by some of the characters in Sonic Spinball. But for the most part, though, when I was growing up, I was trying to recognize them as two different entities. And so my Sonic games, where Sonic is supposed to be cute, running around a psychedelic landscape, shouldn't be associated with a somewhat dystopian Blade Runner type of world that was displayed in the cartoon.
You mean the serious one? Because there was two. There was
the
loony one, and then there was the serious one. One.
There's the Set M. So maybe it felt a little bit too dark, or not so.
Yeah, that was something else, huh?
Yeah, actually quite different. Sonic watching his Uncle Chuck get roboticized. Uncle Chuck, as a child. There are certain aspects where Sega of America did try to integrate the Sat-Am and the Archie comic into the games.
You mean with Sonic Spinball?
Well, Sonic Spinball, yes, that was the one American-made game which did incorporate those characters.
I think you only really see Sally Acorn for a little bit, in a mini game. I believe.
Yeah. You see Antoine.
That was the only real,
right,
marriage between the two.
Right, but as I was showing you too, the instruction manual for the American Sonic CD actually does tell this story in the opening, where it says that the Metal Sonic comes and kidnaps Princess Sally, whereas I guess Amy in the game is supposed to be Princess Sally, or so the instruction manual says. And so Sonic's whole quest is to go to the little planet to save Princess Sally. Whereas in the game, you can very clearly see that doesn't happen until the second zone, and it clearly is a pink hedgehog, not a brown squirrel.
Yeah,
but that was their attempt at trying to make a connection, because they did want to world build, and I mean, Sega of America did want to link the two together, and as we might be able to ask Craig later, I think there were some games that were at least maybe beta products that were pitched trying to link. They're basically Sat-Am Archie comic based games, which Yuji Naka shot down on pretty much all of them, if I'm correct.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about 3D Sonic. Now, a lot of them have gotten mixed reviews. by what it seems by both video game critics and the Sonic fan community online. What is it that you think that makes them so terrible? Is it just the physics? Is it really hard to like put one of these together? I mean, I'm not a coder. I do not know what it is that's needed to make a good Sonic game.
Well, obviously the transition between a 2D platformer and a 3D platformer is quite drastic, and
yeah,
even up till I would say the early days of the PlayStation 2, it was still being figured out what actually makes a good and effective 3D platformer. I don't think it was until like Jak and Daxter that things started really looking up.
You mean for 3D platforming games?
Yeah, I mean for 3D platforming games, yes.
Oh, okay.
But Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, I did like those games. Yeah.
Oh no, I love those games. I'm just like trying to figure out what it is that, if I had to critique them,
In the end, I would say that, like for example, 06, the physics in that game, and the game itself is just not finished. I mean, that's one obvious factor that the game just wasn't finished. Other games like Heroes, I would say, Heroes actually has some pretty good running and jumping, moments, but the combat system, where especially the boss fights, where the bosses have like very, very large life meters, and maybe you have to switch between your characters repeatedly, targeting various enemies, and it ends up being a real chore to me. Boss fights in Heroes, and it's not really fun. Yeah.
So just to paint myself a little background in terms of because it seems like everyone has kind of a different list of like 3D Sonic games that they kind of rank as like their top tier Sonic games. What would you rank as like the top 3D Sonic games, like the ones that are like the quintessential ones that you need to go for right away?
Adventure 1, yeah, definitely.
That tops the list.
Yeah, Adventure.
Oh, okay.
Adventure 1. And of course, I like Sonic Generations a bunch.
Right. It seems I've talked to a couple of other Sonic fans, and they seem to say that Generations is where it's at.
And after that, Colors. Yeah, Colors is really good.
Yeah, everyone loves Colors. I heard it was getting a remaster. There's some German, news that were rumor mill or something that broke out.
So I heard from my friend Sammy, the classic Sonic fan.
Wait, do you know this guy? Have you talked to him?
I talked to him very briefly on Instagram. It seems like he's doing very well now.
Okay, so you only know him on an acquaintance level.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say we're
drinking buddies or anything.
No.
Oh, okay.
But I would like to get to kind of become a little bit more friendly of him and see what happens.
So wait, tell me a little bit about this guy. I have no idea who he is. I haven't really done any research on him because I've been kind of focused on...
You definitely know who he is.
I do? Yeah. Because I look at him like, I don't know who this is.
So Sammy, the classic Sonic fan, was, I would say maybe, back like several years ago. He was actually like a real meme on YouTube, where he was making these videos. He was supposedly like 15. He looks like he's more like a 12-year-old boy with a Sonic backpack on in his videos, but he just made these big rant videos about how much he was angry at the Sonic community, how much he hated everyone talking shit about Sonic. And he would get allegedly very angry. He would be yelling at the camera. He would be throwing a tantrum, crying, and screaming. And people were very bewildered as to how this could be real, or if it was a joke, or perhaps it was actually not a supposed 15-year-old boy, but maybe like a 12-year-old girl trolling the internet or something. But it ended up just being that he really was a very big dork, a big obsessive Sonic fan, and eventually he did grow up, and now he's in college, and he does occasionally make commentary on Sonic the Hedgehog news. But at one point when he was a YouTube meme / sensation, he was we'll just say maybe 4chan was not too kind. But
Okay, I think I've seen his face. I'm looking on my phone right now.
yeah. See, I think there's some archived videos of him. Most of them probably being very embarrassing.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of. I guess the word you would use is lots of cringe types who are interested in Sonic. I don't know if our podcast fits under cringe. I hope it doesn't, but maybe it does. That's the thing about cringe. I don't know if you can call yourself cringe, before something comes out, but because the other person that comes to mind when it comes to like cringe people when you talk about Sonic is of course Christian. We have to mention him. I haven't watched a single video. I've only just heard what other people have been talking about.
Christian, I would definitely consider myself to be a Christorian.
Oh damn! Really?
Yes, absolutely. I am. I find I have followed Christian for many years. From perhaps. Wow.
So for somebody who has no idea,
I would actually say probably from like 2000. Yeah, 2007, 2008-ish. I've known about Christian. Yeah.
So for somebody who has no idea what a Christian is, how would you explain what that is in like a few sentences? Is that possible?
I think these days that we do call them lol cows, like LOL cows.
Okay.
Essentially, they're people that they make videos, they want attention on the internet, but they're not entirely aware that they are actually making fools of themselves. And therefore, you then have people that egg them on, and they reply with an equally embarrassing, cringy response, and it goes back and forth like forever. And we call them locals. In fact, there's an entire like forum, I believe, called the KiwiFarms.net, which I think originally was devoted to Chris, but now it has other characters on there. But yeah, the very sad story of him was he perhaps was the very first of these, the very first. He was a mentally ill, or as he calls himself, a high functioning autistic boy who came from a very unfortunate what do we call it? Upraising. What was the word? I can't.
Upbringing.
Upbringing. Oh my God, I can't speak English. Yeah, but yeah, it comes from a very unfortunate upbringing where he didn't get the treatment he needed because his parents were a little bit too conservative, and it resulted in him remaining, a real kind of undeveloped man-child, and he just would go on the internet and make videos about whining incessantly about his life and other nerdy things, and then people would egg him on. And him not actually realizing the consequences of what this could do, or even who these people were. And as it continued, it kind of like blurred the lines of what reality and internet were to him. Mm-hmm. And now the current Christian we have is a person that is actively talking to imaginary characters. Out in public. So
yeah, I saw a couple of your posts. I think on Discord or something. You were saying that you're genuinely terrified of him now. Can I say that?
Oh no, I'm not terrified of him.
You're just concerned. What word did you use? I can't remember.
I think it's concerning.
Okay.
I do feel that the Chris of the past definitely did have a chance if he had made some real friends, or if somebody had been there to point him in the right direction. Mind you, probably not a very easy feat even back then. Now I think it's too far gone. Christian, or as she refers to herself as being Christine, no longer Chris but Christine. Christine might be too far gone now, where she's now actively talking to her imaginary creation.
Wait, he transitioned?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know. The reason why I'm bringing this up, because sometimes I talk about Sonic and then Christian always gets brought up.
Yeah.
What is his relationship? What is the association Can you explain any of this for me?
Yeah, let's not turn into a big tangent about Chris too much longer. But
oh yeah, no, because I want to know like when it comes to association with Sonic, a few things always come up, and I think that's one of them. So I feel that's the only reason why I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah. So Chris definitely is a nerd like us. He definitely is a huge Nintendo, Sonic, Pokemon fan, and he got one day he got a brilliant idea. An absolutely brilliant original idea that he was going to make his own comic book, like pen and crayon comic, in his room, and he's 20 years old, 21 years old, and he got the great, incredibly original idea of making the character called Sonichu, which is a fusion between Pikachu and Sonic. So a Pikachu in midst of a giant thunderstorm and a weird disaster interacted with some kind of like chaos ring, and it fused the Pikachu with Sonic, and then we have a yellow-toned Sonic the Hedgehog that is not only fast, but he has electrical powers. And
I'm looking at it right now. Okay, slogan, now I'm starting to get the meme now.
His slogan is "Zapping to the extreme." Of course, the immediate criticism of this was that it's not original at all, and both characters have their own copyright. They're all both copyrighted. You can't do this. He's like, no, I'm going to make comics and I'm going to sell them. And he had this dream and aspiration of really turning Sonichu into something real. And it got to the point where somebody emailed him saying that they were Miyamoto of Mario fame, and saying, "Oh yes, we are intending on purchasing or working with you on your intellectual property, Sonichu."
What? This is real?
To produce a game, and like, of course, it was a troll, but
okay,
but Chris like flat out believed it and was like really serious about it. Like,
do you think this? Okay, do you think this would really ever happen in real life? Sonichu.
Sonichu. The Sega has acknowledged that Sonichu. Yes.
Well, because I'm looking on like my phone right now, and there's so much content about it. It's like more than just a little bit. Like there's drawings on here, and
I love your.
Some of these are really well drawn.
I love your surprise.
This isn't like nothing. I mean, like, because sometimes you search for things on the internet because you want to like know more about them. Maybe if you're lucky, if you find 3 images, it's like this is like overload.
You can buy Sonichu merchandise directly from Chris.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah, he sells like Sonichu medallions and figures and badges, and also he has drawn, I think, like 10 comics, and he actually will like print you off like a comic.
Okay. Have you ever bought one?
And like sign it if you send him money. So,
did you legit buy one? Did you?
No, I've read some of them on the internet, but I don't have a print.
Okay, I don't think you need one.
I do kind of want like one of the figures or something, but I
sells figures too, huh?
I heard they're really shitty. Like,
huh.
Yeah,
like
some of the
or something.
Yeah. So yeah, some of the figures are right here. They pop up on the Google image search. That's the one he made
them too. Okay. Well, that's What is your take on all this? Like the fandom reaction to Sonic the Hedgehog? Because I mean, obviously, it's like there's so much of it. It's just like. I would never have started this podcast if it was just like I'd never start a Mario podcast. I mean, maybe there's a few well, I guess maybe there's something there. But it just seems like Sonic has like these weird, like, I'm not going to call them people. I'm just going to say there's these weird things that are associated with him. Like the movie, like people changing the movie so that he has better, CG. I mean, that's something, And then I run into all these like transgender people on Twitter, and they're all fascinated with Sonic. Like I'm interested in what the appeal is, or like what the general like why this is a thing. Why does it exist? I don't know. What's your take on it?
I mean, it definitely has to do with internet culture wrapping itself up with. I would say also, yeah, maybe a little bit of furdom community.
Okay, because
so
Sonic's he's a furry.
Yeah.
Or because he's a furry animal, I should say.
Sure. I would say it links up with internet communities. Maybe a little bit of the furdom. Chris Chan doesn't help. Chris Chan definitely doesn't help.
Yeah.
And overall, yeah, a lot of people that really enjoyed Sonic, and yeah, it. I guess they miss it. They miss it, and unfortunately, it's just not as. It's not represented as healthily as say Super Mario.
Yeah, Super Mario, right? Because I was thinking about this the other day, and like I was thinking, what somebody makes someone a furry? Like, if I like Mickey Mouse, does that make me a furry? Do you have to just self-identify as a furry?
I think you have to like want to Mickey Mouse.
That's what I'm wondering, because like I've heard like people who identify as furries, and they say no, it's not all just about sex stuff.
They feel maybe like, some kind of a spiritual connection with it.
A spiritual connection.
Yeah,
I guess what we have to do is we have to get a furry on the show in order to like talk about this.
Yeah, I don't really know where to begin. I have no idea.
Because it's like because I was thinking about this. Like, if I draw Mickey Mouse or I like Mickey Mouse, that doesn't make me a furry, you know. But I was also thinking, what is the fascination with like animals, you know? Because Sonic's obviously an anthropomorphized animal, right? And I was thinking about this for a while. I was thinking also, you know, children in general, you know, a long time ago, there was a time when like we weren't really nice, or people weren't nice to children. They were treated just like adults. They weren't treated like, well, we have to protect the children, you know, what is it? With kids, they always like try to think of the softest thing they could, you know, give to a child. And it would always be some sort of animal of some kind. And I feel like a lot of people who grew up with these animals, you know, they have like these strong emotions and feelings with them, but they often associate human-like abilities to these animals. So I feel like that's what kind of evolved into furryism. Correct me if I'm wrong in this analysis, but that's what I can draw from it.
Well, yeah, I would say let's get a furry on the show, and that's
that's a good point.
Let's save this discussion for then. I really have no comment. I have no idea.
Right. Well, I think what's also going to be kind of hard is getting some of them on the show, because I think a lot of them are probably going to be embarrassed about speaking out about being one. I think that's also going to be a thing, especially like because I've kind of dug deep into the Sonic community here, and you know I can kind of get the impression that some of them don't want to go on a podcast and talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think it takes a little bit of balls to like, you know, talk about a cartoon character for more than an hour. That is something you liked as a child, or something that you secret. I don't know. I guess not secretly. I'm not secret about it. I mean, I've put it on the internet. So, but one guy I was looking at is treasure hunting Sonic. I don't know. I was thinking about messaging him at some point. And I think I told you that I'm having the season 3 people on, so that'll become a thing soon. All right, so I guess that pretty much wraps it up. Is there anything else you want to say about your own personal history in terms of Sonic the Hedgehog?
Sonic the Hedgehog? I mean, just like most kids in the early 90s, I caught on to Sonic Mania. I mean, not the game, but yeah, the Sonic fever, which, you know, embraced all of us when that Christmas of 1991. And I was sold, and you know, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, and all the games that followed up until Sonic, until like the Dreamcast, I really adored, and some of the best platformers still, in my opinion. Sonic CD, I think, probably being my favorite.
Yeah, that's a good one. I played that one. I played that one on the computer. I remember.
Yeah, great soundtrack. Wow. Wonderful soundtrack. I have a Japanese copy that I recently played through with a friend not too long ago. And I like the Sonic movie / OVA, the Japanese anime.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that? Yeah, go on.
I've always had this like very strong like association with psychedelia and Sonic the Hedgehog. I guess
you think
they
kind of work hand in hand?
I feel like a lot of the environments in Sonic 1, 2, and CD have this sort of like very, very 90s kind of, I mean, as we call it today, I guess like vaporwave-esque aesthetic to them. A lot of psychedelic like rings, pink colors, neon lights. A lot of it trying to embrace this kind of weird Japanese like techno fantasy world. And something about it has really appealed to me and still does. I feel that like a lot of the throwback we see like in the current vaporwave future funk aesthetic actually has a lot to throw back at through Sonic.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess that's
that wraps up probably episode 1. I'm not sure what order I'm going to put these in. Sure. I'm recording this one and like a couple of others because they often say when you start a podcast, you should have at least 5 episodes starting out. That's kind of the minimum.
Right.
Because those are always the hardest ones to produce. Yeah. So until then, I'm Radrey and
I'm Marc.
And let's do it to it. I don't know what else. How else do you got? Well, you got to have like some sort of ritual or something.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it to it. I like that. I always like that phrase. I don't know. Is that cheesy as hell? What do you think?
What does Sonic say? Is it put the pedal to the metal?
Let's do it to it. He says that.
He does?
Yeah, don't you remember? It's from Sad-Am.
Oh my god, it is.
Him and Sally used to say that all the time. Let's do it to it.
Oh, that's so crap.
It's crap? Oh man. All right, I liked it. I like that phrase. All right.
Maybe I can think of something here. Zap into the extreme.
Zap into the extreme. Gotta go fast. Gotta come fast. No.
Zap into the extreme is actually Sonichu.
No, not Sonichu. Anything but Sonichu. No. That's the last person I want to be associated with. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. All right. We'll end it here. All right. I'll push or download here now. Like, there's a few topics I figured I could talk a lot about. One of them is that after playing Sonic Adventure 2, I noticed all these like really big gay themes in Sonic Adventure 2. Did you pick up on any of these?
No, I did not. But
okay, there's a lot of them.
Oh, I didn't. No, I did not. I guess I could be here to hear you talk about that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just the overall focus on Shadow, and you know how Amy's not a playable character; she gets pushed aside. There's so many like little tiny things that like make me say that is this why gay people love Sonic? I'm kind of curious.
I don't think that I don't think Amy Rose being a NPC in the game is
right. I mean, you could write that one off. You know, there's that. Okay. And then there's also like the one storyline that never makes it into the game, but you have to read about it online, is that character Maria Robotnik. She dies of a disease named NIDS, which is essentially like it's like an AIDS-like disease. The other one that gets to me is like, okay, well, it opens in San Francisco. And I'm like,
all right. Well, first of all, the reason why it starts off in San Francisco is that's where the Sega headquarters is.
Right. I know that probably has an explanation. Yeah.
You didn't like Pumpkin Hill?
Pumpkin Hill is all right. I didn't hate Pumpkin. Actually, no. I did hate Pumpkin Hill. I take that back.
That's that song. Oh man.
Yeah. What is it? It's like all gangster rap or something for every.
Yeah. Did you hear like the guy who did that song? Like he was hoping to get royalties from it or something, and he made a big stink on the internet.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and like he was thinking he was going to become like a big celebrity, like, and be making like a lot of money because of Pumpkin Hill.
And then nothing became of it.
And then he got really angry, and
we could use that as the theme song for this podcast. So you don't really have an idea of what Naoto Oshima's or Yuji Naka's vision is for Sonic, because it always feels kind of like there is no vision.